What's up, everybody? Thank you all for tuning in. You're now tuned into my podcast. I'm SF Johnny, Seriously Focused Johnny. You are tuned in to Difficult People Chronicles. Today's episode is called Pray for Them Too. Pray for Them Too. This episode is for everyone, including myself. You got to pray for those people with reckless behavior. People using God's name for their evil actions, selfish desires, and they come in with excuses. You got some people who want to be kept in this world. It's like nowadays you got a lot of lazy people. And I saw a story where this woman, she played the part for so many years only to try to take her husband's millions. Played the part. Meaning pretending to be a loving wife. They you these people, they don't want to work. They don't want to love the person they're with, man or woman, whoever it is. They don't want to love the person they with. They walk into situations with a story, a plot, a plan, and a scheme all in their head. How they going to be kept without contributing as far as any form of fashion. They think it's normal, and they think that they try hard to be undetected, meaning masked, and whatever they trying to do. We see it all the time. Well, I see it a lot. I've seen it a few times, like in the last few years, where you have in families children stealing from their parents, and we talking about grown children. We talking about, well, they're not children, they adults, but they're their parents' child, and in a sense where they're 50 years old and up, and they stealing from their parents who is older, like 80, 70, 80, and they stealing. hmm just to buy a house instead of working for it. They spend more time off the job than on the job. Then you have some places where you got families sacrificing their kids, and you could see what the end is gonna be. You could see it. A child could get a scholarship for college and decide they want to go to college and they want to work too, just to help out around the house, but the parent decides they don't want them going to college. They want them to just help out around the house and possibly get two jobs. And this parent sit back and do absolutely nothing, and they can work but they choose not to. Mm. And they try to block their child, that particular child's free time and everything else. They just want them to work. They don't even want them to build, like to say they gonna save up money, they gonna move from where they at or X, Y. They don't know. And then you have some people who try to make a person stagnant. hmm Because they know that if this person finds their way, it's over. They got to go to work. So they manipulate situations to make the person stagnant. A person could sit there and know that they might be ready for marriage, or ready to do some things, but that other person don't want them to get to that level because they know that if they get to that level, what, they out the door. hmm And it could be a family, a friend. There are people like who I said in the case that aired last week. It's called The Case, The Sick with the Multiple Spirits. Check out that episode where I talked about people who they are just moving on to their next victim. And what I was saying is that you have people that whatever wicked they have done is nothing new. They just found a new victim. And if they can get away with it, they will. And they will keep doing the same thing, moving on to something new. And they try to make their actions justifiable. You got to pray about those evil spirits inside that person. Pray for those that when you were blind and couldn't see, but now you see exactly who they are. And it could be sometimes situations where you get into a situation and the situation comes to an end and you say, now I know who this person is. But that person is free to roam on to the next person. So they going to find another victim and try to destroy someone else's life. And what they do is, because you figured them out, they try to cover their tracks so good that the next person won't figure them out. You got to pray about those people that was so wrong that they came to you with that wrong situation and you thought it was right, not knowing all the details, and you participated unknowingly. Because you have some people like that too. I was reminded that at the end of the warfare, that's right where the breakthrough is. The enemy turns things up a notch. And there may be some things that can be holding us back. It can be a sin of omission, sin of commission, or because God gave an assignment and it was just not completed yet. Like praying for those with recklessness behavior. Here's an example, and this is a true story. I was asked to help someone, and I stepped in, and my spirit felt uneasy, and I didn't know why. I didn't know if it was nervousness at the time, but I was just like, it felt uneasy. Never felt that way before, you know. Um, but I did what I did. I helped out, and then it happened. I looked up and I looked around. Everybody was looking at me except this one person. And in my head, I said, something is off. I could feel it. Remember, I said that God will show you the culprit. What happened was I couldn't remember what I was trying to say. And all day I knew what I was going to say. But that time I couldn't, and something was happening. Everyone, like I said, was looking at me, but this one woman who I stared at and I couldn't take my eyes off of her. She was aggressively biting her nails. And I thought back to myself, like, I remember this picture seems so familiar. I'm going to tell you why the picture seems so familiar. Because when I was younger, there was a situation that happened where myself and another party was in an argument about something. And someone came to me and said, well, what happened? And it was three people standing there. And I expressed to the three of them about what happened. And lo and behold, somebody went back and told the person I was arguing with what I said, right? Added their opinion to it, and then added a lie. And then when I went back to all three people, because I wanted the truth to be told, you know, everybody was like, they don't know who could have said that and this and this and that. And then the person that I was arguing with never told me who told them. So I said, fine. Well, since nobody's going to tell me, I'm going to go to God in prayer. And I went to God in prayer. And lo and behold, it's almost as if I was sitting down in reality watching a movie where the picture turns gray, everybody freezes, and that one culprit was all in my face. And then days later, what came to me was that that's the person that added to the story and told a lie. So I went back to the person that I got into an argument with, and I told them the truth and how I felt and everything else, and then we patched it up. And then sometime later, like years later, that same person and myself became at war because, truth be told, that person didn't like me anyway. And I'm not talking about the person I was arguing with. I'm talking about the person that ran back like a rat and told uh, what I said, but also added to the story. Yeah. And when I was arguing with the other person at the time, I said, I'm going to tell you exactly what I said because I'm the type of person I can tell you exactly what I said. And I told that person exactly what I said in X, Y, and Z. hmm But I was just like, you don't have to tell me who told you anything because I already went to God in prayer. Yep. That's when I found out who the culprit was, and I just, separated myself from that person. Well, in this situation, with the woman aggressively biting her nails, you know, I said to myself, she's a witch. And then I went home and I went to God in prayer, and I asked God for confirmation. And what came to me was she wasn't the only one. I got more information than I asked for. Now, let me back up a bit. I noticed weeks before this whole incident, the same woman, if I said something like to myself, you know, tomorrow I'm gonna have a donut, she would show up with a donut. But I wouldn't accept anything from her. So this particular time, I wore jeans, a yellow shirt, and a pair of sneakers. Because that was just always my street gear outfit. And this particular woman, she always wears like khakis and loafers and a shirt. But this time she wore jeans, sneakers, and a yellow shirt. And I thought that was kind of strange. hmm Her sneakers was too big, so she was walking funny. So that was a red flag right there. And then her hair was pulled back in a ponytail, the same style I had my hair in. And I'm the type of person, sometimes I just, yeah. I just walked up and I was just like, you trying to be me? And I just started laughing. She had the look of embarrassment. hmm I did not care. She had that look of embarrassment because I guess she felt that whatever she would do would I wouldn't say anything and it would be undetected. But it was too obvious. The sneakers was too big. She's used to wearing loafers and she was walking funny. Almost like she couldn't get she couldn't stand properly or walk properly in her sneakers. That let me know that those sneakers were not hers. During that time, I left that situation alone for a long time. But for some reason, this morning, that situation came up again. And I said, I'm going to pray for her. Before, I was like, you know what? That situation is a thing of the past. Peace. Peace out. But I realized that instead of letting things go, you got to pray for them too. Our prayers is not only just about asking God to act on our behalf and punish our enemies, even if they done sold their soul to the devil. Sometimes when you go to God and ask God what to pray about, you might have to pray that the demon, you might have to pray that the demon that's oppressing them sets them free, that God destroys them demons. You got to pray that they will allow God to work in their heart, renew their mind, so their behavior and actions change. pray that they see the light so they will realize their wrongs and what they did. In the Bible, God often talks about the fool to describe those who reject wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, instruction, his way, and a person who lacks self-control, have anger issues, or lack common sense. Proverbs 14:16, New International Version. The wise fear the Lord and shun evil, but a fool is hot-headed and yet feels secure. In 2 Samuel chapter 3, Joab murdered Abner, and David was not happy about that. In the same chapter, New International Version, Joab and his brother murdered Abner because he had killed their brother. So this was an act of revenge. And like I say all the time, I repeat, an act of revenge is not for you, it's for God. Meaning that God said, revenge is mine, I will repay. Romans 12:19. Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, it is mine to avenge. I will repay, says the Lord. So as it is written in 2 Samuel chapter 3, David states, verse 39, may the Lord repay the evildoer according to his evil deeds. When these evil spirited people do what they do, which is wreak havoc in someone else's life, we need to go to God so he can deliver on our requests from the courts of heaven. I tell people all the time, when people be shaking their heads at situations they see other people going in, I be like, look, look, look. Don't judge what's going on over there, because that situation could happen, God forbid, to anybody. You need to pray because other people need our prayers too. These people out there are roaming the earth and they are going after their next victim. And God forbid, you don't know if that next victim is in your backyard. God forbid. And you got to pray that God puts a stop to them, because sometimes that's the reason why they've been continuing what they do. You know how many people I hear about going through divorce because the spouse did this and the spouse did that, or breakups where there was a bigger picture, where there was manipulation at play and craziness going on. And then in the end, they see the whole plan and they get so mad because for so many years they was locked into this lie. And then something happens where they just get happy that, they free. No. Continue to pray about that culprit, because trust me, they might have had one spirit inside of them and then other spirits attached to that spirit, and then they going to find their next victim. Our assignment is never about us. It's about advancing God's kingdom. It's about God. It's about what he wants to do with us and how we should be operating. So I say, pray about those people, those evil spirited people out there too. Because I hate to see innocent people get hurt by the nonsense that they do. So that's it for today. Love me more. Sign up for a session. Check me out on YouTube. Like, subscribe, click the notification. Check out my store for suggested topics. Email me. Have a blessed day, y'all. Later.